And that's why apologists like David Wood and the Apostate Prophet are running away from debating topics like this. You're coward apologists like David Wood. You're coward apologists like Apostate Prophet. Why don't they come and debate me on this? What I'm saying is that when we open up the Quran, we don't see verses babies like what is in the Bible, and that is why Christians run away.
I would say. Well, I just wanted to say, if Quran orders Jews and Christians to judge by the gospel and to obey the Torah and the gospel, so if you're saying that, if you're saying that's in the Torah, and Allah commands to obey the Torah, then that would mean that Allah is commanding it, and so you've just refuted your own God and shown that it's far more. It's far more violence.
Look, he can't. He cannot.
Just to quickly answer the
defend it. You're supposed to follow this. You notice how you.
It's a very nice distraction from the topic.
The Jews teach to follow that stuff. Okay.
The Jews came to Muhammad and they asked to settle a dispute.
That at another time.
You don't want to listen. Okay, let's talk about Muhammad Hijab. Let's talk about Muhammad Hijab. So I would say, in my opinion, I just want to say clearly, if you want to learn about true Islam, listen to those Muslim apologists who are actually popular with Muslims, not Nader Ahmed and Muji here. Listen to Muhammad Hijab, Daniel Hikikachu, Ali Dawa. They will show you very clearly, without us needing to do anything, what real Islam is. Do you think Bukhari was a charlatan?
Yeah, according to me, he was.
He was a charlatan. Okay,
yes. According,
I agree.
Respect.
I agree.
This one from Sugar Goat says, David, why don't you talk about the violence of Christianity, which says stone apostates?
He runs away from that debate. He knows the Bible can't be defended.
I debated that topic with Shabir Ali.
Oh, we had
a public debate. Well, Shabir Ali will actually stick to the topic. So anyway, can I answer the question that was directed towards me?
Yeah, answer my challenge.
All right, let's hear from David Wood.
All right, so there's no command to Christians to anyone, including apostates. You can find in the Mosaic, under the Mosaic covenant, where people entered into it, it was verified with miracles, and there were harsh penalties for violating the covenant. That was the covenant that they had agreed to. I applied the same methodology to the Bible that I apply to the Quran. Right? The Quran is a series of revelations, and according to the Quran itself, the final revelations, they can trump earlier revelations, and you have the final marching orders. Nadir laughs at this stuff. That's what his God says. He once again laughs at his God and his prophet. But the Bible, you have a series of covenants. There's a covenant with Adam. There's a covenant with Noah. There's a covenant with the children of Israel. I'm not under that covenant. Never have been, never will be. Then there is a covenant through Jesus Christ. That's the covenant I'm under. What commands do I obey? The commands of the covenant that I'm part of. I'm commanded, love your neighbor as yourself, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Insofar as it depends on you, live in peace with all people and honor all people. These are commands directed towards me.
Well, David, I didn't hear you answer my challenge. One second.
Who is this directed towards? Who is this directed towards? Who is this directed towards?
Did the moon ever split asunder that we know of?
This never happened, despite some Muslims occasionally making certain claims that this did happen and that there are records. They present one record to which don't actually attach any source. So I cannot document anything about this because there is no document. There is no document in human history ever which tells us that the moon was split in two. And this actually disproves the Quran, because if the moon was split in two in the 7th century, we would have records of it from different civilizations, from different cultures. In the 7th century, people were quite advanced and took records, were constantly observing the sky. A recent Muslim apologist very funnily said that we have no records because people were asleep at night. But of course, that is a very strange reflection from the topic. We have no source, and it clearly did not happen.
So what Apostate Prophet is presenting to you is a pseudoscientific principles. Here is a journal, which if you can see on your screen over here, here is an article in which the moon, someone in a book claimed 900 years ago that the moon completely vanished from the sky. Okay. And so the scientists actually began to research this, but here's what's very important. Why didn't they ask what Apostate Prophet is asking? Oh, where did anybody else see it in the world? No, they went and researched this. So this is a fallacy which is known as an argument from silence. Listen here what an argument from silence is. This fallacy of reasoning states that if a record of an event cannot be found, then that event did not occur. This argument is erroneous because an event could have happened even if no record of it could be found. In other words, lack of record does not disprove an event. So here's my point. If you try to these arguments with other people, they're going to shut you down. They're going to refute you. But I think the most important thing here is a pseudoscientific principle which Apostate Prophet has brought that, nobody else has saw it in this world, therefore it can't be true. This article from academia disproves and debunks that. Thank you.
So just to be clear, you're saying that the moon could have been broken into, which the Quran says this was done as a demonstration for people to view, but we can't prove that it didn't happen just because nobody saw it happen, even though there's only one moon.
Well, what we are saying is to say that it didn't happen because nobody else saw it. This is a pseudoscientific principle. That means nothing. It's an argument from silence. Can we prove it? Can we disprove it? No, we can't. Tonight, I've come here tonight to talk about why the Quran contradicts modern science. And this story does not contradict science. Do you disagree with that, Aaron? You brought it up.
Once again, I mentioned it only because the Quran said that it was done as a demonstration.
What about you, Apostate? Are you saying the story contradicts science?
Yes, I am. I think it contradicts science.
Okay, what scientific principle? What document? What scientific principle are you talking about?
Well, I think it contradicts. It contradicts science because it makes a claim that we have absolutely no proof for, which we should normally have proof for.
Okay. And thank you, Nadir, for challenging me to this debate on whether science proves that the most obvious false prophet in history is a true prophet. When it comes to science, Muhammad was wrong on virtually everything he could possibly get wrong. Whenever Muhammad made a clear scientific statement, it was clearly wrong, and Muslim apologists are therefore forced to misrepresent and distort unclear verses in a desperate attempt to provide evidence for their faith. I don't want anyone to miss the big picture of just how wrong Muhammad was, so here in my opening statement, I'll give you an overview of Muhammad's thoughts about the universe, about human reproduction, and about disease and personal hygiene. What was Muhammad's view of the structure of the universe? I'll begin towards the bottom of the universe. Surah 68, verse 1 of the Quran reads, Nun, by the pen and by the record which men write. The word nun typically goes untranslated, but according to Muhammad's companions, including Ibn Abbas and Ibn Masud, it refers to a large fish or a whale. Ibn Abbas comments on Surah 68, verse 1, Allah swears by the Nun, which is the whale that carries the earths on its back while in water, and beneath which is the bull, and under the bull is the rock, and under the rock is the dust, and none knows what is under the dust save Allah. We have many more references to this cosmic fish or whale in Ibn Kathir, Al-Tabari, and Al-Qurtubi. So, Surah 68, verse 1 contains a reference to a fish or whale beneath the 7 earths. Yes, I said 7 earths. In Surah 65, verse 12, we read, Allah is he who created 7 heavens, and of the earth the like of them. Modern Muslims have tried to reconcile Muhammad's reference to 7 heavens and 7 earths with a correct understanding of the universe. But in Jami' at-Tirmidhi 3298, Muhammad himself explained what the Quran is referring to. The 7 heavens are 7 domes over the earth, and there's a 500-year journey between one dome and the next. According to Surah 22, verse 65, these domes are made of some kind of physical substance that would fall on us if Allah didn't hold it up. The verse declares, He, Allah, withholds the heaven from falling on the earth, except with His permission. Most surely, Allah is compassionate, merciful to men. Allah withholds the heaven from falling on the earth. Just as there are 7 heavens, there are 7 earths, with ours, of course, on top. According to Muhammad, there's a 500-year journey between one earth and the next. The earths are stacked on top of each other, but with some space in between. What's the shape of these earths? According to the Quran, the earth is as flat as a carpet. Surah 20, verse 53, He who has made for you the earth like a carpet spread out. Surah 71, verse 19, and Allah has made the earth for you as a carpet spread out. Surah 88, 17 through 20, Do they never reflect on the camels and how they were created, the heaven, how it was raised on high, the mountains, how they were set down, the earth, how it was made flat? But it's not only the top earth that's flat. We learn from Muhammad's companions that all 7 earths are flat. Ibn Abbas comments on Surah 65, verse 12, Allah it is who hath created 7 heavens, one above the other, like a dome, and of the earth the like thereof. 7 earths, but they are flat. So if you're trying to get your mind around Muhammad's view of the 7 earths, just imagine a giant stack of pancakes, but there's some space between the pancakes. Muhammad's astronomical difficulties don't stop there. Muhammad clearly believed that it's the movement of the sun, not the rotation of the earth, that accounts for our observation of the sun moving across the sky. In Surah 36, verses 38 to 40, Allah says that the sun runs its course, that the sun and moon each swim along in their own orbits, and that the sun can't catch up to the moon. We know Muhammad believed that the sun is moving across the sky from other passages as well. For instance, Surah 18 tells us that Alexander the Great once reached the place where the sun sets. Verse 86 says, when he reached the setting place of the sun, he found it setting in a spring of black, muddy water. Our Muslim friends try to reinterpret this. Unfortunately for them, in Sunan Abu Dawud 3991, Muhammad also declared that the sun sets in a pool of water. Since the sun sets in a pool, the sun must not be very big. But Nadir continues saying that this is not actually in the Quran. Let's recap. Surah 67, verse 5. And we have from of old adorned the lowest heaven with lamps, and we have made such lamps as missiles to drive away the evil ones, and have prepared for them the penalty of blazing fire. So what are the lamps that are missiles that Allah uses to shoot demons? Surah 37, verses 6 through 10. We have indeed decked the lower heaven with beauty in the stars, for beauty and for guard against all obstinate, rebellious, evil spirits. What does the Quran say? The stars that you see in the sky, they are for guarding against obstinate, rebellious, evil spirits. And it goes on to say that if the spirits strain their ears in the direction of the exalted assembly, so they're listening into his plans, they will be cast away from every side, repulsed, for they are under perpetual penalty, except such as snatch away something by stealth, and they are pursued by a flaming fire of piercing brightness. So when a demon successfully hears something about Allah's secret plans, and then he runs, Allah hurls a star at him. Clearly says stars in this passage. Allah hurls a star at him. That's the piercing brightness that you see. We know from Sahih Muslim that Muhammad brings up what the Quran says about stars being missiles in the context of him and his followers seeing a shooting star. They see a shooting star, and Muhammad explains, what you used to believe about shooting stars is wrong. I'm going to tell you the truth. What's actually happened is revealed in the Quran. When you see a shooting star, it's because Allah or his angels hurled a star at a demon. Nadir somehow looks at all of this and says, nope, there's no contradiction here with science. There's no error here. There's no problem here. And if this isn't a problem, then I don't know what could possibly be a problem for your Quran here, Nadir.